All right. Thank you. I appreciate everybody coming here today. This is another update that we want to bring to the public. That's the primary point of today's press conference, is make sure we're getting information out to the public. So we really appreciate all of you being here today to help us with that. Also want to say a special thank you to all of the people that are out there working this disaster and have worked this disaster. Unbelievable. You guys have been out there, we've been out there, and whether it's neighbor helping neighbor or a sheriff's deputy or somebody in our road department or street department with the city, Corps of Engineers is here. This whole community is coming together to help with this disaster, and it is a disaster. It's been about 60 hours now since then. That was a lot coming in. We brought in extra dispatchers. I'm sure the cities did as well. But that was a tremendous surge in activity that we have not seen before. Since that time, our road department at Benton County has been out clearing, and we've cleared probably 500 miles or so of road. And that's not just your typical grading. We have all sorts of pictures of roads that the before picture doesn't look like a road at all. And it's been really a tough grind. We think we have almost all of our county roads open now to at least one lane, and by that we're just taking the debris and shoving it into the right-of-way and moving on. The most important thing is that people have access to their homes, that first responders have access as well. You'll recall that I did a verbal emergency declaration early that morning, I think about 2:30 in the morning. We have since actually signed that declaration. I've talked to Governor Sanders about that. She's also talked to the President about that, as has been reported. And so we are well down the path of what it will take to get to a presidential declaration for this disaster. Speaking of Governor Sanders, she was here yesterday. We walked several neighborhoods. There was a contingent of our federal delegation, Congressman Womack, Senator Bozeman, and a number of others who saw the destruction firsthand, which was really important. And our partnership with the state has been phenomenal since the moment this started. Also, we've been communicating, collaborating with our cities. I was on a phone call about an hour and a half ago with all of the mayors in Benton County and their staffs, updating them on what we're doing with regard to a couple of issues that I'll come back to in just a second. We've had excellent partnership with our federal delegation, particularly in the interaction with FEMA. FEMA is here now. They're in the assessment phase now. They're in the air, actually, I think, as we speak. And they will be on the ground assessing properties in person tomorrow, working with Adam and working with our emergency management staff. So what I want to do today is I'm going to update on a couple things, and then we have a number of folks here. I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Holloway and then some other folks that you can either ask questions of or who have a couple of statements. So I'll turn it over to Sean in just a minute, and as we have people come up, they'll introduce themselves. First thing is, one of the key issues that obviously is of concern is debris removal. We have not seen, that I can recall, an incident that has created debris to the extent that we have now. We are working extensively on identifying locations to take debris, and right now we have 5 to 7 sites. Some will be open to public, some will just be sites that we can utilize for municipal and county debris. But we will shortly have updates on where the public can take debris and what we will do with debris that is in various neighborhoods and other locations. What we're planning to do, at least in the county, and I know we've had a call with the cities, and cities will do their thing as well, but we'll be able to pick up organic debris that's moved to the right-of-way. In other words, move it to the roadside. We'll be able to pick up organic debris, trees, limbs, things of that nature. And it's really important that citizens separate that from the other kind of debris. So if you have a couch that was injured, you have a couch that was damaged, or debris like 2x4s or things like that, fencing, those have to be kept separately. And we'll have more information out on our website about all this. But debris is something that we're going to start working on right away. And look for our Facebook page, our social media, our website for information on that, along with our cities. We'll also have a process shortly to handle what we call C&D waste. That's that furniture and that other kinds of debris that we're talking about. There will be options for that to be picked up at some point in the future. We don't have that identified yet. It depends in part on getting that presidential declaration. And we're also working with our convenience centers, the one in Centerton is an example, another one in Rogers, for household hazardous waste. And so we're going to get more communications out about how people can deal with household hazardous waste as a result of this incident. I would just say that there are rules that have to be followed. We can't just do this willy-nilly. We have to follow rules very specific from FEMA and from ADEQ and from ADAM to dispose of the waste, and we will make sure to communicate that to citizens so that we can have this go as smoothly as possible. But please recognize, have some record their damage. What that will do is, as we go towards a presidential declaration, it will help us with personal damage reimbursements potentially to citizens, depending upon if you're underinsured, don't have proper insurance, or in other circumstances, there might be reimbursements available from the federal government. I think that's all I have right now, and we'll go to questions, but I want to turn it over to Sheriff Holloway, and I also want to have our interim county prosecutor, Josh Robinson, say a few words, and then we've got some others up here who can answer questions as well. Sheriff?
Thank you guys for being here. As we're moving forward with this tragedy that's hit our community, I want to point out the great cooperation between all the entities in our county of government, the road department, local police agencies, the county government. It's been amazing, everyone helping a neighbor, and I've seen so many great stories already of citizens helping other citizens, and we just want to encourage people to continue to help your neighbor. That's the best thing that we can do at this point. We've moved now from a point of emergency response to more of a humanitarian response. We're trying to identify, for us as a sheriff's office, people out in the county who are without power, have needs. That includes some of my own staff. We've finally getting some of them back on their feet. I've had 7 or 8 of our staff that were affected by this, and we're trying to get them back to work. We have many private organizations that are wanting to help. If you want to go to our webpage or call to the office, there's many people who are looking to volunteer, more than we know what to do with at this point. But there's going to be people in our community that are going to need help, who are going to be out of their home for a while. We don't know how long we're going to be without electricity. Obviously, that's going to be the biggest thing to get assessment. I get a lot of questions, and I've got the Corps of Engineers here, questions involving the lake, and they'll be able to address a lot of those. We have a lot of people who are biggest issue out at the lake was trees. Obviously, it's a tree area, and we're trying to assess what we have out there. But as far as concerns to the lake, we have a lot of issues on the lake with docks and boats turned over that we want to obviously take care of, so that we're not dealing with a hazardous issue on our lake going forward, and try to get life back to normal as fast as we can. And I just want to thank the press for what you guys have done to get the word out. And we just pray for everyone in our community, and that everyone can get back to a normal life, and we can get them back in their homes, and we can get functional as a community again. So,
Thanks. I'm Josh Robinson, the prosecuting attorney, and I'm going to echo a lot of what Judge Mooring and Sheriff Holloway have said about seeing people respond and work together and helping other people. And times like this, we get to see the best of our community, right, and what we're made of. And we've seen so many positive things and people helping out each other and responding. But also want to let everybody know that we've heard some people that are out there taking advantage, right, that are victimizing people who are most vulnerable right now. And you know, my office isn't functioning to be out and rescue people. What we can do is to ensure people that if you're going to be out victimizing your other community members in a time of need like this, we will prosecute you. No matter what level of crime it is, we will investigate it, we will prosecute it, we will hold you accountable. We want to encourage everybody who's been out helping and doing the right thing, and I want to thank them, but also want it to be a warning to people that if you steal from others, that if you take advantage of them, that anybody who comes in and engages in any sort of fraudulent construction activity, we're going to be watching for it, we're going to investigate it, and we're going to prosecute it. Thank you.
one thing I can add to that, so when you have these type of events, you will have those that come to our area to try to take advantage of those who are suffering right now. One thing I can say, do not pay cash or money for a service until that service has been provided to you. That's the biggest fraud that I've seen in the past. They want money up front and the service never gets done or never existed. So just ask that our citizens, if you're needing help or have a question about that on a service that someone's offering you, feel free to call our office and we can send a deputy out or whoever it is to check out to make sure that they're legit. There's going to be a lot of people trying to do some stuff with roofs. If you don't feel comfortable with it, tell them to leave your property. There's plenty of legit businesses in our area that can provide that service for you. So just be on caution of that thing.
And then just real quick before we take some questions, I failed to mention that one of the requests of the state that we're going to make is we are going to seek some support from the National Guard. Governor Sanders has indicated to us that that would be readily available. We're going to firm that up. And that support is going to be primarily to help us direct traffic and help with the debris. When we open these sites and we start to bring in both, whether it's dump trucks full that cities and the county have collected or trucks that private citizens have collected, we're going to need some help in that regard, and we might need help in some other regard as well. And then one final thing, one of the sites that we're looking to open up to the public, and we'll hopefully have an announcement in the next 24 hours, is the Benton County Fairgrounds. That's pretty centrally located, and so we'll have more details on that forthcoming as well. And then finally, please watch out for our media announcements regarding facility closures. We've had a number of facilities in Benton County that have been impacted by this, our courthouse, our Rogers office, and others. And please help us get that word out as well so that citizens aren't showing up expecting services that we're not able to provide at the moment, whether it's due to power outage or water damage. And with that, we'll take any questions that you have.
Can you update us? Last we heard potentially 3 victims due to the storm. We haven't heard much about that 3rd victim. Do you have any information about that person?
Let's take that.
I'm sorry, which one being the 3rd?
A man possibly in the 70s, possibly a nursing home.
Yes, there was a gentleman that had a heart attack shortly after the roof was removed from the nursing home that he was in, and they found him as they were going room to room doing the evacuation. And it is related directly to the event, and they count that as a death for the tornado.
That's a nursing home in Rogers or in Benton County?
It's in Rogers.
And then I'm hearing reports that as you're surveying that there could be an additional death, storm-related death. Do you have any information on that?
I know that there is a search for an individual, but we do not believe it is related to the storm.
Sorry for lack of a better way, but would that be a person on a kayak by chance that you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay. I'm hearing there could be something else related, unrelated, not that person, another person. We don't have to.
So we're currently doing a search right now. Individual we believe drowned, who got into a moving body of water. They were out there for recreational needs, not related to the tornado. Many hours after that, on the same day.
Oh, the same day, but after the storm
Yes,
broke through, which
not
is-
related to the tornado though.
But still, I guess water levels were extremely high.
Yes, very dangerous situation to put yourself in, and not smart, honestly. But
What can you tell us about that person at this time?
I don't have any information right now because we are currently working that as we speak, a recovery operation.
Judge, is it too soon to know overall magnitude? I know we're gathering numbers as far as homes, businesses, overall magnitude of people affected by these storms.
It's too soon to know precisely, but generally, we know that this storm affected Benton County residents from the state line in Oklahoma to Carroll County and perhaps beyond. We're hearing reports of multiple weather events, multiple tornadoes. Again, none of that is confirmed until the National Weather Service says it's confirmed. But there are pockets, and in some cases wide swaths of destruction from Decatur and western Benton County on through the lake, through Bentonville, through Rogers.
I'd
So,
say it's safe
a
to
lot.
say there's hundreds of people who are displaced, hundreds of people that we have displaced from their homes, just from trees falling on their homes, and water damage that is coming in on top of the obvious damage that we see from the tornado that wiped total structures away. That number we don't know yet because we're still getting reports of those. They're coming in. Those weren't initially 911 calls. So I don't know if we'll know that true number for quite a while, because some of those individuals just don't come forward and tell us. They try to take care of it on their own with their own insurance.
But real quick, that's why that personal damage assessment on our website is so critical, because that will help actually catalog the damage. and FEMA being here with Adam doing those assessments and going to specific areas where we know that there was destruction, that's going to help with that as well. But yeah, it's a magnitude that we haven't seen in as long as I can.
I think it's safe to say hundreds of people, hundreds of homes. Too soon to know. You'll start starting tomorrow. Catalog businesses, homes, structures.
How many have already?
So Michael Wallman, your Director of Emergency Management. As the judge said, the citizen self-reporting tool that we have is very instrumental in helping us determine areas that were hit during the storm and to help us focus tomorrow on where to take the Arkansas Division of Emergency Management evaluators as well as the FEMA evaluators. To this point, on the citizen self-reporting tool, I have 794 homes that have been reported using that tool, and that's probably a very slim portion of the truth that we'll see. Of those, I have at least 6 destroyed homes, and what we mean by destroyed is there's nothing but the foundation left. The hardest hit area was definitely out in Decatur. Right now, we have various ground assessment teams through our Benton County Search and Rescue folks are going kind of door to door and helping populate that assessment in those harder hit areas. Every time we go out, we end up finding a new section of the county that we didn't know about that was hit. So using this tool helps us really identify areas to kind of go in and focus with these ground teams. And as the judge said, that will start tomorrow about 10 a.m. We'll divide up into 2 teams. We'll go out into west and east side of the county, and we'll just try to do a site-by-site verification and ground truth, if you will.
And another top priority has to be electricity, restoring power to those homes and buildings that can receive it. Do we have any update on those efforts?
I don't have an update on when electricity will be restored. I mean, we are in touch with SWEPCO, we're in touch with the city of Bentonville, we're in touch with Carroll. There's a lot of different electric providers here, and I'll say they're making incremental progress. Power came on at my house last night. We still have a courthouse down without power here. We're without power in Rogers, and we're hearing estimates from days to a week or 2 before full power is restored, but we don't have an exact estimate.
If you guys have any questions about Beaver Lake and the parks, we have the Corps here. You can direct some questions to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who are you first?
Derek Merkin, I'm the Operations Project Manager at Beaver Lake with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Little Rock District.
And we're having a hard time making it to all the damage, but there's extensive damage. We've heard out there from Green and that's
It certainly wasn't the Memorial Day that we hoped. Out at the lake, multiple parks suffered significant damage, specifically Horseshoe Bend and Prairie Creek parks. If I can, I'll go through a quick rundown of closed campgrounds. Currently, that's Prairie Creek, Horseshoe Bend, and Rocky Branch. Those areas, please avoid them. There's really a bunch of hazard trees still hanging up. As early as this morning, or as late as this morning, we still had trees coming down. Parks open with no electricity or water are Starkey, Lost Bridge North, and Lost Bridge South. And then parks open with electricity and water that are fully available: Dam Site Lake, Dam Site River, Indian Creek, Hickory Creek, and War Eagle. So we kind of have a wide range of available services across the lake. Specifically, Prairie Creek and Horseshoe Bend, those campgrounds will be closed indefinitely. Just with the amount of damage that we have in there, it's beyond the capacity of the staff we have out at the lake to clean them up. So it's going to be a while before we get those parks back in working order. We hope to have Rocky Branch back on site by the end of the week, early next week, so that people can come out and camp with us. Yeah, go ahead.
Clue about what was because of the damage I'm talking about. Some people say that it's a tornado, but some people say that looks like a hurricane. Some people say that lands 3 tornadoes at the same time. Do we have a clue about that?
I don't have any idea on that. I'll leave it to the National Weather Service to make an official decision on what exactly caused the damage. All I know is that there was extensive damage. And really want to thank our park visitors, our first responders who showed up to just get people out of the campgrounds, because there was so much damage that it took people a while to even be able to leave the parks.
Just to be clear, there are still 3
that I'm aware of.
I guess lastly, I'm trying to remember the last time a storm of this magnitude hit this area, this region, having a tough time when driving through town and seeing what I see. How about you, sir?
I think every storm's a little bit different. We had a tornado in 2019 that was pretty extensive, but I don't think it reached this scale at all. And we had a huge flooding event in 2017, so that's a completely different storm. They're all a little bit unique. I think just for sheer destruction and devastation, I've been here 25 years. A lot of people have been here a lot longer than this, and I've had people tell me this is as strong a storm as they've seen here. What do you
I've
think?
been here
Sean?
52 years, and I don't remember anything of this magnitude, especially hitting our metro areas. The only thing I can equate that I've seen, we're nowhere near the damage that it had, was the Joplin tornado. That was off the charts. But as far as this county, this, in my opinion, is the worst we've ever had.
And lastly, with the threat of warm, rain, and weather, a lot of people are out there doing what they can to protect and save whatever they can.
Yeah, I mean, it's that time of the year. We're definitely not out of the woods for violent storms. Or hopefully we're on the back end, and we'll get to a hot, dry summer, which some people don't look forward to, but I think we're all looking forward to now. So yeah, everybody needs to watch the weather, stay tuned for their alerts, and we'll hope for the best. That's all I can say about that.
If people need resources, is there anybody you recommend they reach out to? If it's places in the county, where do people find the resources that they need?
Sure.
Shelter, anything like that.
So we are keeping a tally of that on the Benton County website, and I'm glad you brought that up because we're going to create a website specifically for this disaster, where we're going to have things out there such as what do you do with debris in your yard, where is there assistance